afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Hummel Fieldhouse in Bethany, West Virginia. Today on the PAC Sports Network, it is the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship as the Bethany Bison host the Thomas More Saints. I'm Randy Gore along with Kat Guyan for today's broadcast. Nick Farrell, our camera person today, and Justin Piles, our producer. Today's contest, the 3-seeded Thomas More Saints and the top seed, the Bethany Bison. Bethany 28-9 in the regular season overall, 17-1 during PAC play in the regular season. Thomas More 23-5 overall, 15-3 in regular season play within conference action. And two talented teams, Thomas More, they've won the conference 3 out of the last 4 years. And for Bethany, they have been near this stage the past 2-3 seasons, but this is the year that they want to win the school's first ever PAC Women's Volleyball Championship.
For Bethany, I just keep thinking back to the beginning of the season when we talked to Coach Klein, and I asked her, I said, you know, having won those past 3 ECACs, are you more hungry to get to the championship game? They narrowly missed it last year and the years before, and I think they were so hungry for this year. They were worried last night about facing a very, very good Westminster team, but they got through it, and now all that's left is Thomas More, and they've been able to beat them twice so far this season. Once Thomas More, though, took them to 5 sets, so we'll have to see. It could go either way.
Yeah, the Bethany Bison coming off back-to-back 30-win seasons and 3 straight ECAC South titles, and while those are very nice accomplishments, Coach Klein and the Bethany Bison, as we stated, they want this PAC women's volleyball title here today. For the Thomas More Saints, they're the 3 seed. They've come this route before, as not being either the top seed or the second seed and having the first round bye, so to speak. So this is a route they've taken before. And talking with Thomas More's head coach, John Spitter, he said that they've done this before, and they're accustomed to it, and it's been a fun ride to this point, and obviously they're hoping to do something they haven't done this season, and that's beat the Bethany Bison.
You really can't look to talk about being the number 3 seed. Up until that last week when Geneva was able to upset Bethany, I guess you could say, they were sitting solidly at the second spot in the conference for a while, and then Geneva, the fact that they were able to beat Bethany propelled them ahead. But they saw a very, very good Geneva team again last night. Like we've said so many times before, the top 4 teams were so talented, but Thomas More last night, they were very composed, very well balanced, so I'm expecting much of the same from them today.
As far as the teams and how they've gotten to this point here tonight, well, Thomas More, they've won 18 of their last 20 matches. Their only 2 losses in that span are both against Bethany, 3-0 and 3-2, as Kat mentioned. Took the long road to the title game this year, did the Thomas More Saints. They rolled past Grove City 3-0 in the first round and beat Geneva last night in the semifinals 3-0. A bit of a surprising, easy win, I guess you could say, in a sense, for Thomas More, as last night in the win, sophomore Jessica Canale led the Saints with a match best 13 kills. Freshman Marissa Meyer added 9 kills. Sophomore Stacy Howe finished with 7 kills. Junior Holly Bronner had 30 assists, and also junior defensive specialist Kelsey Castiglione posted a match-high 26 digs. But Geneva, we saw them earlier this season on the PAC Sports Network, very impressive against Grove City, but Thomas More, for the most part, handled them with ease.
They really did, and I'll say it again about Thomas More. I was sitting down here watching, and I didn't have live stats around me, and you couldn't really tell who was leading them in kills or anything. Obviously, that you could tell who was really outstanding on defense and things like that, but they were just so well balanced. Their setters were doing a really nice job distributing the ball, and they were just very composed for what is primarily a young team.
And for the Bethany Bison, they became the first team in PAC history to start conference play 17-0. They were 17-1. They did drop their regular season conference finale against Geneva, but rebounded with a hard-fought semifinal win over Westminster last night in the semifinals 3-2. And freshman Dakota McKenzie totaled a match-high 20 kills and 7 digs. Sophomore setter Mackenzie Lauber dished out 50 assists. Yes, 50 assists and chipped in with 18 digs, and sophomore Julia Mount had a match-high 27 digs. And the Bethany Bison, really the big note from last night, they faced Westminster in a match in the regular season that we had here on the PAC Sports Network. It was a 5-set match, so was last night, and in both going down in similar fashion, with Bethany winning in the end. But for Bethany, and talking with Coach Klein, Courtney Klein of the Bethany Bison, she was especially pleased with her group from last night because they are so young. They have a great deal of youth that start in their starting lineup, and the fact that they were able to keep their composure and in a semifinal match. Now, to do it in the regular season is one thing, but to accomplish it in the semifinals as a youthful group they were able to get that done, and Coach Klein very pleased with that.
Between Bethany and Westminster last night, that was definitely the match of the night. It was so electric in this gym. Both teams had great support from the fans. It was just really fun to watch. But like you said, with Bethany keeping their composure early on, Westminster got down by quite a few points. I think they were down by as much as 6 or 7 at one point in that first set, and it looked like absolutely nothing could phase them. They were just all business, battling back. And when you see Bethany and you watch all these young players, they get so excited in between every point, and you worry, what if they're in a situation, are they going to get too excited, they're up too much? But they really did. They were the most composed that we've seen them all season, I would think.
In the upperclassmen glue that holds them on all together is Brianna Harris. She was our Foster's Law Office's player of the game during the regular season when Bethany played Westminster, and she always, and you noted it in one of your blog posts, Kat, that she always comes up with the big play at the right time, and that's something that you look for from your upperclassmen. And Coach Klein had said that she's a player that really has gone from a lead by example type of player to one that now is a little more vocal, has come out of her shell a bit, and again, when the time warrants it, she makes the right play, whether it's a kill, block, or otherwise. She's always there for this Bethany team.
Well, last night was a perfect example of that. She had the first point on a kill for Bethany for their first point of the match, and she also put it away for them in the last set. So I mean, she just couldn't come through at a better time. And when you put her up there with the McKenzie sisters on either side of her, that's just such a powerful front line because they're all tall, they have the size on the outsides, and they were playing Westminster really well in the middle. Westminster, a team last time, Bethany didn't have much of an answer for them in the middle, and last night they finally did. Harris was in there, her blocking was great. She was getting set up really, really well, but she really is. She's so composed for them all the time.
Thomas More Saints mentioned they were victorious 3-0 over Geneva last night, but Thomas More, as the reigning champions of the PAC, they won the conference last year with a 26-6 overall mark and 17-1 PAC record a year ago. The Saints have won the PAC crown 3 of the last 4 seasons. Geneva is the only other team to win within that time frame in 2011, but Thomas More was picked to win the conference this season in the preseason coaches poll, and they have a chance to defend their title here tonight as they are in the PAC championship match with the Bethany Bison. The Saints are bolstered of that group that won the championship last year. They have 4 all-PAC selections back this year. Senior Tyler Deaton, junior Kelsey Castiglione, junior Felicity Britt, and sophomore Jessica Canale, who was an honorable mention last year, but also the 2012 Freshman of the Year, and she has been a standout player once again for Thomas More. Although, again, talking with Coach John Spinney of the Thomas More Saints, he had said that the team's key on Canale, and as a result, and especially today, he needs, and so do the Saints, they need some other players to step up, but they do have several other hitters that have that ability to step up, as we mentioned, in Deaton and Felicity, Britt, and others.
Coach Spinney, another one that sticks out in my mind when you go back to interviewing all the coaches at the beginning of the season, and I think that I asked him about his returning all PAC players, and he was happy about that, but I think from the way his responses were, they had a couple of question marks at some positions. They have a lot of players that are younger, and I honestly think pre-season for them was really figuring things out, and they've come along nicely because when you look at the team that's out there on the floor, yeah, some of them have been there before, but they're another one that's really, really composed. They don't get overly excited. They were also, that match between Geneva and Thomas More last night, it was almost like both teams were there. It was strictly business.
And as far as you mentioned some of the question marks for the Thomas More Saints, namely inexperience at setter, and that is a result with Bronner and Kuhn splitting time at setter. Coach Spinney says that on a night-to-night basis, really he plays the hot hand. They'll both split time, but whoever develops the hot hand tends to be the player he'll go with, and that will certainly be the case again today. He really doesn't know on a day-to-day basis who will see more playing time at the setter spot, but both are expected to split time, Bronner and Kuhn, again tonight. And as a result of that, of the inexperience at setter this season coming in, it's been a learning curve for some of those hitters that we talked about in getting acclimated with those setters. But nonetheless, that's the situation leading up to today's championship game, championship match for the Thomas More Saints and the Bethany Bison. The 2013 PAC Women's Volleyball Championship about to get underway. The starting lineups will be introduced momentarily, and we will take a break and come back for the start of today's action, the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship from the Hummel Fieldhouse on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just-for-guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
When you're seriously in debt, you know that feeling. It returns every time the phone rings. Things are out of control. A job you were counting on didn't come through, or you got sick. No matter how it got to this point, your creditors don't care or understand, but I do. It's not too late. I can help. If you're embarrassed, overwhelmed, or frustrated, don't be. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help, and you do need help. Please call me. There is a way out, and I'll get you there.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact Time Ad Productions. Time Ad Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
And welcome back to the Hummel Fieldhouse. The starting lineups being introduced before our PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. And a couple of players that we didn't talk about in our open, but adds an interesting storyline to tonight's championship, is there are a pair of sisters, one for each team. Both hail from Huron, Ohio. Sydney Bragg is a 5'7" freshman outside hitter for the Thomas More Saints, and Paige Bragg is a sophomore defensive specialist at 5'1" for the Bethany Bison, and so they are going up against each other here in this championship, and their family is here tonight, and you can see here on the PAC Sports Network that obviously their rooting interests are a bit split, because they have one on each side, and literally their attire is split here today, a little bit of green and a little bit of blue.
I guess from what I was hearing, that while Paige was playing last night, Sydney sat up there with her half shirt, and then vice versa when they were watching each other play. But I mean, I guess if you're their mom, you just cheer for every point.
Has to be a difficult situation in a sense, but talking with both teams' head coaches, didn't have an opportunity to talk with the girls, of course, because they were on the field, or excuse me, on the floor, practicing, getting ready for today's championship match. But the coaches pretty much concurred with each other that both truly enjoyed going up against each other, and they're excited for this opportunity today, as they would be on any other day. But both are solid, gritty players, and similar to each other from that standpoint, and should be a lot of fun for them. And the one thing for the family is that somebody today is going to come away as a PAC champion, so that's some good news.
That's going to be something that, obviously now it's special to them, but when they look back down the road, no matter who wins, or I'm sure they'll face each other numerous more times, but that's going to be something that way down the road, it's going to be a really special memory.
Yeah, as one is a sophomore, Paige Bragg, and the other a freshman, and Sydney Bragg. They still have many years yet to play PAC volleyball, and who knows, this may be just the first of several chapters of potential title matchups between the two, and at least for today, one of which will have family bragging rights, so to speak, by when this one is all said and done. So we'll see how it all goes down here today, as the lineups have been introduced, both teams huddling up on their respective sides. And Kat Guy, you have been excited about PAC volleyball all season long, and it all culminates today.
I mean, I'd said to you that I had a pretty good idea who was going to end up in the tournament, but honestly, last night I had no idea who was going to be here today. Bethany, you feel for them. You want them to get there, talking to them. Out here in Thomas More, I've watched them on their video a couple times to just get a feel for them since we haven't gotten to see them on our network, and last night was the first time I got to see them play live, and I was just so impressed. So I think that right here, right now, arguably the best volleyball you're going to see all season if my thoughts are correct.
I think you're right. We have seen some pretty good volleyball along the way, too, namely that Bethany-Westminster match in the regular season, which was more or less mimicked last night in the semifinals. And here we are as the Bethany Bison will accept the serve from Castiglione. And we are underway. Castiglione with a nice diving dig on the other side of the floor. Partial block by Brianna Harris. Left side set for McKenzie. The swing and the partial block by Thomas More, but they keep it alive. And the kill for the Thomas More Saints, Felicity Britt, the junior. And it's 1-0 Thomas More.
If I had to pick a couple areas to watch, although it's early, serving for both teams and blocking. And watch the defense of Bethany. They did some really incredible things yesterday as far as saving balls that were just running clear off the court of I never thought they could get. So just a couple things to watch early on.
An ace for Castiglione. She is 6th in the conference in aces, and that her 41st of the season, although off the mark this time, a service error. And Bethany on the board 2-1 in set 1.
She tried that same move last night where she tried to go to a different place across court and hit it out again, so it'll be interesting to look for her the next time she comes back around to serve if she tries to catch him off guard or just go back down the middle.
After the serve by Kelly Beckwith, big kill in the middle for Thomas Moore's Jessica Canale, the sophomore, and as we mentioned in the Open, the 2012 Freshman of the Year. Now she's a sophomore and delivers to help Thomas More out to a 3-1 lead.
Bethany really has to watch that middle. They had really good middles up against them last night in Westminster, and they're going to have another one today.
Brianna Harris blocked by the Thomas More left side, and the Saints improve their lead up to 3. Becca Kuhn serving, one of the setters that splits time. And Mackenzie Lauber sets left side for the kill by Sadie Davenport, a freshman for the Bethany Bison, a part of that youth that we talked about early on. And here is sophomore Mackenzie Lauber, a terrific setter with the southpaw serve and the ace, Mackenzie Lauber. Lauber with 52 aces now on the season, adding to that tally. Set by Kuhn, left side swing by Marissa Meyer. Played over by Davenport for Bethany. And a tip into the back right corner, well placed by Canale. That time, not necessarily the big swing, but the well-placed accuracy there. 2-point lead for Thomas More.
That move will catch Bethany off guard several times. We saw it the first time we saw them against Westminster. They did it last night they did it as well. Bethany, the one thing as good as their defense is, when they go to try and get that first dig, no matter where it is, their back row really does shift a lot.
Service error by Sydney Bragg makes it a 1-point contest. Brianna Harris, the junior leader, serves it over for Bethany. Back set by Kuhn and tipped into the left corner by the Thomas More Saints' Holly Bronner. Now, when you don't bring the velocity, you commonly characterize that soft serve as a tip, but usually you don't see the length on tips like that, but that's the game plan here from Thomas More into those quarters. But there, a rocket shot by Delana McKenzie for the Bethany Bison, one of the freshman twin sisters, as she along with Dakota.
You can't leave either one of those open without a block. You can't do it because that's going to happen to you every time.
Dig from the back row, and a swing by Holly Bronner, blocked by the Bethany left side. Eventually sent across by Stacy Howe. A little bit of a, looked like perhaps either a mid-flight adjustment or maybe a miss hit that went her way, but Dakota McKenzie hits the point and we're all square. Bethany serves it over. And unable to return, Thomas More. So fine serve by Sadie Davenport, and the Bison are in front 7-6 in the opening set. Right-handed serve by Davenport. Kuhn will set left side for Howe, and off the antenna, out of bounds. And it's now a 2-point lead for the Bison. Or excuse me, that is, they're going to give it to Thomas More, so evidently it was off the block and then off the antenna. My apologies. And we're tied 7-7. Lauber sets to the right side. Too strong on the swing. Bethany pleading for fingertips, but won't get the call. Delana McKenzie with the hit out of bounds beyond the end line. 1-point advantage for Thomas More. Low serve and an ace. Now they bottom dropped out on that one. Holly Bronner with an ace.
It's a beautiful serve. If you're a player that can get your serve to do that, just glide right over the net and then drop, you're going to have so much success.
Bronner, the other setter, along with Kuhn, serves it over. Lauber, back set to McKenzie, blocked in the middle by Thomas More. Now it's Dakota McKenzie for the kill. Well, what a gift it must be for Coach Courtney Klein to have twin freshman sisters on each side that have the power and accuracy that the McKenzie sisters do.
There's not many girls in this conference that just have the height of them alone, and if you have the height that they do and you can get up like that and block and be able to put kills down, they're just such a threat. That's why I said you can't leave them open without a block on either side. And when they're both in, really look out.
Both standing at 6'3". So a lot of height and ability. We're tied in set one. Tip by Felicity Britt, but the response is Mackenzie Lauber sends it over. Another tip by Howell, this time for Thomas More. Lauber with the dump across. Swing into the left quarter, and again aiming for the quarters. It's senior Tyler Deaton for the point. Deaton at 6 feet, out of Lexington, Kentucky, and Lexington Catholic High School. She's a first-team All-PAC member from a year ago. Service error on Thomas Moore's Brittany Rorcassi.
Both of these teams saying before the game they need to serve better. They've each had, I think, 1 or 2 errors, and early on haven't played that much yet, so you don't want to see that.
From the left side, the hammer, but played well by Bethany. Try again, will Thomas More. Does it catch fingertips? It does. So the kill for Marissa Meyer, the freshman, 6-foot player from Cincinnati, Ohio, and Seton High School. Makes it 11-10 Thomas More. Castiglione serves, and an ace for Castiglione, her second of the set. Now, Castiglione, a fantastic defensive player. You've written about her on our PAC Sports Network blog and her ability. Back set by Lauber to Harris in the point for Bethany.
I even said last night in another post, because this is the first time, like I mentioned, we've seen Thomas More live. Castiglione certainly comes as advertised. I mean, just tremendous. She covers that back floor really, really well. Certainly deserving of leading all the statistical categories she does, and of all the times I've written about her.
Marissa Meyer with a big swing and point. Makes it a 2-point lead for Thomas More. Checking back in to serve is Becca Kuhn. Kuhn with the right-handed serve. Dug out by Julia Mauk. Nice tip by Harris, but Thomas More able to handle it. Meyer lofts one over Bethany and out of bounds this time around. Talking about defensive players, Julia Mauk is another for the Bethany Bison. Fantastic ball player.
She was making some amazing plays last night. I will tell you, if you weren't here and you didn't get to see it, you missed out on one heck of a show.
Lauber with a service error. 2-point lead for Thomas More. We are in set one. PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. And it's championship time along the President's Athletic Conference. So we'll talk with PAC Commissioner Joe Onderko in a bit, coming up early in set two. Nice diving dig by Mauk. Lauber keeps it alive and sent across by Davenport. Back over, Harris And a diving effort on the back end, but unable to keep it in play as Kelly Beckwith made the valiant effort, but the point goes to Thomas More.
Plays like that were exactly what I was talking about. That happened so many times last night with Thomas More too. I mean, Thomas More at one point played it off of the basketball hoop and managed to save it.
Lobber back set to Delana McKenzie, but she is blocked by the Thomas More left side. Stacy Howell a part of that. And now as the Saints have up their lead to 4 points, it's a timeout called by the Bethany Bison and Coach Courtney Klein. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
We're in set 1 here from the Hummel Fieldhouse, the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. And Thomas More with the lead after the Bethany timeout will serve. And lobbed over for an ace by Sydney Bragg. And that has the Bragg family, some of which on their feet. We mentioned in the early portion of the broadcast.
I think you can definitely tell over there which one's mom, because she stands up after either team gets a point.
Blocked by the right side for Thomas More. Davenport over for Bethany. Kuhn will set Canale. She is blocked by Harris, and Thomas More unable to keep it going, so the block by Harris helps deliver a point for Bethany. But we're talking about the Bragg sisters, and yeah, you're absolutely right. You have Sydney for Thomas More, who had the ace moments ago, and Paige Bragg for the Bethany Bison, and yeah, Mom is the one up on her feet every time. There's several members of the Bragg family here at the Hummel Fieldhouse today. Castiglione to Howell on the left side and over. Beckwith with the dig, back set lobber to Delana McKenzie, and the kill goes cross court. And it's a 3-point deficit for the Bison.
What a point there. I mean, you look at Lobber, she hit that back set right over to McKenzie, and McKenzie with just a great placement. There wasn't a huge hole back there in the back of the court across side, but she found it. And to be able to hit across court like that and keep it in, it was just inside the line. Just a wonderful play.
An ace for Brianna Harris. During the commercial break, Kat, you were talking about how Bethany is very calm right now, despite facing the deficit that they were at that time. It was 4 points. A swing by Thomas More to kill for Holly Bronner. But in regards to Bethany's composure, that's something that we mentioned in the open that Coach Courtney Klein was very impressed with, especially out of her young group, out of the win last night against Westminster in a 5-set contest, and keeping that composure at least so far today, even though early on things aren't going their way, and a miss hit by Delana McKenzie. Too strong, 4-point lead again for Thomas More.
You can clearly see how this team has matured together. Even from the first time we saw them, they were just very excitable, and even in that first match with Westminster, there were matches where they were just, or sets where they were just getting blown out and then they would come back. But when you look at last night, they were much more consistent, still excited, still getting really into it, but they were more calm. And now today they're running more business-like. So you can just really see the maturity that this team has gone through, and they've been able to take that journey together with pretty much the same starters at a young age. They're going to be playing very well together for a long time.
Holly Bronner with the point moments ago for the Thomas More Saints that has prompted again Coach Courtney Klein to call a timeout, as now the deficit is 5 for the Bethany Bison. So Thomas More, with all of the composure that we talked about shown to this point from the Bison, Thomas More, they're the reigning champions, and they want to retain their title. They've again won 3 of the last 4 seasons they have won the conference title, and hoping to make it for the last 5 if they can claim a win here tonight.
You can tell early on too with the balance with Thomas More. They've had a couple different hitters up there trying their luck, being able to put kills down, so already very early being able to distribute well.
Canale serving off the timeout. Delana McKenzie with the point. Caught one of the hands of the Thomas More blockers in front, but drops in the open middle, and Bethany makes it a 4-point contest.
It's difficult when it goes off the blockers because it's not as predictable as that straight shot. With the hitters, you can tell where their body's squared up, where they're going to go with it. But when it goes off your blocker's hands, it's a wild ball.
Dakota McKenzie with good velocity on that last swing. Thomas More responds. Back set to Delana McKenzie off the left side block of the Saints and out of bounds. Serving is Sadie Davenport. Dig out of the back row by Sydney Bragg, and the point courtesy of Tyler Deaton for the kill. Important opening set. Bethany, of course, on their home floor here in the Humble Fieldhouse. Thomas More winning on this same floor last night against the Geneva Golden Tornado, the number 2 seed. Thomas More, the 3 seed. Blocked by the left side. Holland Deaton hovering back over. Deaton with the tip. And there's a big kill for Dakota McKenzie from the left side for the Bison. Makes it a 3-point contest. Serving now for Bethany is Haley Santemeyer, 5'6" freshman. There are no seniors on this year's Bethany squad, as there's a line drive kill for Stacy Howe. Not to say that that's a bad thing with not having any seniors, because we've spoken about the upperclassmen leadership of Brianna Harris, and means with all the youth that this Bethany team will be in the hunt for years to come. The Thomas More Saints, they have been the top dog for several years and trying to keep that going, but there, the block in the middle by Dakota McKenzie.
I think Thomas More was overly anticipating that play. They didn't expect her to just put it right back down. I think they thought she would one-time it a little farther out, and by the time they could stop themselves, they were just into the net. No way they could have played it.
Off the serve by Mount, a carry on Holly Broder. Makes it a 2-point affair here in this first set. And now a timeout on the floor for the Thomas More Saints as Bethany has crept to within 2, as we mentioned. We'll take a quick break as well. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
Generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve Southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
PAC Women's Volleyball Championship in 2013, hosted by the top-seeded Bethany Bison. They are down by 2 to the reigning champion Thomas More Saints. Serving, Julia Mauck, 5'9" sophomore from Toledo, Ohio, and Sylvania Southview High School. Deep breath, and the right-handed serve. Dig out of the back row, and Tyler Deaton with the kill for Thomas More. And they creep closer to taking set 1. Castiglione, who has 2 aces in the set. Dig out of the back row by Santemeyer. And Dakota McKenzie with the answer for the Bethany Bison. Kelly Beckwith from Ringgold High School in Finleyville, PA, with the serve, and there, dropping the hammer, Jessica Canale.
Thomas Moore's just really having success in the middle. That's 2 big kills, almost not right in a row, but the last 2 points they've had have been 2 just tremendous kills in the middle. Bethany just has to do a better job blocking them. We've seen it before with Bethany. They get these teams with good middles, and the blocking's there sometimes, but it has to be there always.
And Canale with the point to finish. And the Thomas More Saints take the opening set 25-17. 21 in the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. We'll be back for set 2 on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
Welcome back to the Hummel Fieldhouse. Thomas More winning set 1, 25-21 here, the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. And we're joined here right before we get set 2 started with PAC Commissioner Joe Onderko. And Joe, we're here on the PAC Sports Network for yet another championship. And so far it's been an exciting one in the early going.
It really has, Randy. First of all, great to have you guys here for the Volleyball Championship for the first time. It's tremendous to have that coverage this year. And you're right, a real back and forth opening set between the Bison and the Saints there.
Well, busy week, busy couple of weeks for you as PAC Commissioner, as well as Kevin Fenstermacher, your Assistant Commissioner. Tell us about some of the other championships that have occurred and are occurring.
Well, this is Fall Championship weekend. We'll be crowning 3 champions, already 1 of them and 2 more to go. Yesterday, Thomas More captured the Women's Soccer Championship with a 1-0 win over Grove City down in Crestview Hills, Kentucky. So congratulations. Saints and head coach Jeff Cummings. Jeff will be leading the Saint men into action tomorrow afternoon. That's a Sunday 1 p.m. kickoff, a little unusual for us. They're going to be hosting Washington and Jefferson for the men's soccer championship. That's really a function of having a football team and 2 soccer teams share the same field, not having any lights, so we had to kind of work things around, but able to make it work and should have a couple great championships coming up.
The PAC football season also starting to wind down as, again, we're getting ready for set 2 here in the Women's Volleyball Championship. But the football season winding down, W&J in a position where they control their own destiny, and they host Waynesburg next week.
Well, yeah, and we got some clarity today because there was a question of could those 2 lost teams kind of get back into it. After today, the answer is definitely no. Thomas More, a winner over Bethany in football today. They finished their conference schedule with 1 loss. Now, as you said, W&J controls their destiny. They also have 1 loss, but they have the head-to-head over Thomas More. So wins over Geneva tonight and then against Waynesburg next week, and the Presidents will get the automatic bid to the NCAA playoffs.
And if the Presidents are able to win today, is set 2 underway here from the Hummel Fieldhouse, and a tip and point for Marissa Meyer for the Thomas More Saints, and they're quickly out in front 1-0 here in set 2. But if the Presidents are able to win tonight, then, or actually either way, Thomas More, their favorite 2 teams at this point are now Geneva and then Waynesburg next week, right?
Yeah, Thomas More has clinched a share of the conference title for certain. They could win outright if Geneva or Waynesburg upsets W&J either this week or next.
Well, fall sports aside, as soon as that ends, then the winter sports season gets started, and already the polls are out for the basketball team.
Yeah, we just released the polls end of the week. Kevin Fenstermacher doing double duty. He's handling championships in Kentucky and also putting those out. And no real surprise, I don't think. Certainly on the women's side, Thomas More has been the dominant program for the last 6-7 years. I mean, that's evidenced by the fact that if you saw this week, former Saint head coach Brian Neal just named the permanent head coach at Xavier University on the Division I level. And then on the men, they're going to be challenged, I think, certainly by W&J and St. Vincent. And then on the men's side, certainly as you guys know, the St. Vincent Bearcats, after that huge run a year ago, really a lot of folks back. They're really the big favorite on the men's side. And we'll have to see who gives them a challenge this year.
It should be interesting to see how that all plays out. As currently 3-1, the score favoring the Bethany Bison right now in set 2. Mackenzie Lauber to Brianna Harris with the swing. Played well by Castiglione on the dig. And the point for Thomas More is delivering Marissa Meyer. and it's now a 1-point contest, 1-point lead for Bethany. But in regards to the basketball schedule, for PAC Sports Network, we'll be there for another full season's worth for the most part of doubleheader basketball, men's and women's action. And we're very much looking forward to that, and also just very pleased as well to have been a part of the fall sports schedule this time around with kind of a dual schedule or split schedule with women's volleyball and football. It's been a lot of fun, and obviously the women's season, at least as far as PAC play, culminates here today.
Yeah, and it's been a tremendous season here in volleyball, and you can see it by the level of play of these two teams right here. Certainly you guys have done a wonderful job with the first year of volleyball and football coverage, and I think the blog especially has really gotten a lot of folks' attention. If you haven't seen it, definitely check out the link on the website for the blog for football and volleyball. Some great information there for PAC fans.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and I know Justin Piles and Kat Guy work very, very hard on the PAC blog, and all of that information it can be found at our website at pacstream.net. Also, you can follow us on Twitter at PAC Sports, on Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we're there. At least we try to be, it's in as many places as possible. So, but again, Joe, we appreciate the kind words, and working with you in the conference has been a terrific relationship for us along the way. This will be our third season of PAC basketball.
Boy, it's hard to believe, isn't it? It's gone so fast, but it's been a great run, and I think you see it in the renewed interest. Taking a look at a nice crowd here at Bethany, Thomas More bringing a great crowd with him up from Kentucky. Interest in PAC athletics is at an all-time high. I don't think there's any question about that, and certainly the work that you guys have done has been a big part of that.
Sydney Bragg serving for Thomas More, and we've talked about the storyline with the Bragg sisters and their family sitting here in attendance with split t-shirts, half Bethany, half Thomas More. Really, it has to be a fun time for that family, and of course the young ladies on the floor here today.
It's funny, I didn't know much about that. I was actually at Thomas More for football in October and got to stop in and see these two teams play each other, and I saw those shirts, and no one had told me the story, and so I was talking to them. We got some pictures taken, and you're right, it's a really neat thing, because it's not like these are exactly schools right next to each other, obviously, but two great volleyball programs, and obviously the two daughters picking some programs, having some success.
Absolutely, and a big part of that success as well is Thomas More coming away with a tip and point, courtesy of Jessica Canale, and Canale, the 2012 Freshman of the Year, and PAC awards will be coming out soon, I suspect.
Yeah, we have our conference meeting for the volleyball and the soccer coaches on Monday. I would expect all conference teams for all three sports there to be released not too long after that, certainly by Tuesday or Wednesday. We will not have the football coaches meeting until the Monday after the regular season, so that would be a week from Monday, and we'll have the all conference teams coming out of that meeting as well.
Bethany Bison to serve. And sending that across, Lindsay Mant, who was a PAC Player of the Week winner earlier this season. Dakota McKenzie, swing across, dig by Castiglione, aiming for the back left corner. She's done that several times tonight with accuracy. Tyler Deaton, an all-conference member from last year as well.
That's one thing you definitely see with this Saint team, maybe not quite having the power of Bethany up front, but boy, they are tremendous on placement, finding those holes in the defense.
Now, being on air, this is certainly not a new thing for you. You're oftentimes on some radio shows talking about the conference, and of course you have your blog your audio blog, your podcast.
Sure.
I was thinking blog, your audio podcast as far as the football week-to-week previews and recaps go, and so you have a lot of time on microphone.
It goes back a ways. I did a lot of did a lot of high school football and basketball when I was starting my career, and while I don't do as much of it anymore, it's always certainly nice to get back on the mic for a little bit, and certainly enjoy this aspect of covering athletics.
Beautiful tip by Alexis Castro, but played well by Thomas More. Cross-court swing by Felicity Britt, and played over in the open middle by Delana McKenzie. Talking about sisters, the twin sisters for Bethany, the McKenzie sisters, both stand at 6'3" on the left and right side, and Kat and I were talking earlier, Coach Courtney Klein has to love having freshman sisters of that caliber.
Yeah, Courtney Klein has really done an incredible job since coming into this program 7 years ago. I mean, they not only have had a lot of success, especially with the 3 ECAC titles in a row, But I think one of the things lesser known is how much success they've had in the classroom as well. This is a team that a couple years ago with Jess Savachin and some others had 3 academic All-Americans on the same team. I mean, that's really incredible when you think about it in volleyball with 6 starters. But, and then, of course, on the other side, John Spinney, again, Thomas More, every year in just about every team sport, they're going to be there. And even though they struggled in the regular season at times, you can see here at playoff time they've really picked it up.
Well, 2 great programs, and one of which get to come away with a championship here this afternoon and early evening. Well, PAC Commissioner Joe Anderko, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
All right, Randy,
looking
thank you.
forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network. From the Hummel Fieldhouse, timeout called by the Bethany Bison as they have fallen behind here in set 2, 12-7, and Thomas More winning the opening set 25-21. So we've talked about Kat, as we welcome back Kat Guyon, by the way, about the composure shown by Bethany to this point, but now might be a time of a sense of urgency to step it up here at this stage.
Well, I have to say I thoroughly enjoyed being a spectator for those few points. It was enjoyable. It's different when you're watching broadcasting versus different just sitting back and looking at good volleyball. But Bethany right now, you hate to say it about either team, but I really feel like they're off their game. This is really not the team that we saw last night that had so much fight, with the exception of right there, of course. They're proving me wrong as I talk badly about them. But, I mean, they show glimpses of it, but they're not as consistent as they were last night. Or for all season, for that matter.
Serving is Malk. And, well, there was a back set attempt by Holly Bronner. A miscommunication between she and Tyler Deaton. And that's part of the inexperience as far as the setter position goes for the Thomas More Saints. I talked with Coach Spinney about that, and he said it's been a learning curve for his hitters as a result of that. And there is a little bit of an adjustment again by Deaton. And that sets up Lauber for the left-handed swing. And Mackenzie Lauber, a very talented and versatile athlete. She's the setter, but she can bring some velocity with the kills.
We've seen her even in warm-ups. You watch her warm up, and she not only warms up as a setter, but she's up there taking kills. And she's another one. She just gets such height and such extension.
Off the right side block of the Bison and out of bounds, Thomas More answering the call, 13-10. Dig by Malk. Lauber sets left side for Dakota McKenzie. She's blocked. Nice recovery, though. Brianna Harris with the tip. Hovers over the net. Dakota McKenzie trying to slam it down, but make that Thomas More, keeps it alive. And a tip by Lauber, but out of bounds. Lauber wanted an infraction of some sort, whether it be a net violation or whatever the case may be, but no call granted. And Castiglione serves for the Thomas More Saints, and after a scramble there by the Bison in the wheelhouse for Canale, easy pickings.
That kind of tenacity on the floor is just Bethany. You can't say enough about them, how they just refuse to let things drop like that. They really scramble well. I don't even know if that's a thing, scrambling well, but they do it well.
Blocked by Harris. And the point for Marissa Meyer, having a big set too. Glad you can be with us on the PAC Sports Network today. I'm Randy Gorlong with Kat Guyon, Nick Farrell, our camera person today, and Justin Piles, our producer. Canale over. There's Lauber, big swing, good dig out of the back row by Brittany Rourke-Cassie as play continues. Castiglione with the set and the kill for Thomas More as again Marissa Meyer comes through. 17-10, Castiglione serves. Lauber back set and the tip by Harris, nice adjustment. Talking with PAC Commissioner Joe Anderko, and he was crediting or hailing the blog that you and Justin Piles worked on quite a bit on the PAC Sports Network. And also, I was promoting, if you will, or talking about the Twitter feed and Facebook pages that we have, but also Instagram. You snapped some pictures along the way during the course of the season when we visit the campuses.
We did a lot of beautiful places. I say it every time, but can't say it enough. A lot of beautiful campuses in this conference.
And there's a building here on the Bethany campus that you're hoping to kind of get a tour of, right?
Old Main, yeah. If anybody knows how I can break into there legally, I guess, not really break in, but if anybody knows how I can get a tour, you know how to find us.
Brianna Harris with the block, and you can also email us, speaking of finding us, at info@pacstream.net. Also, for the folks tuning in, whether it be live or archive, we sell DVDs of our broadcasts as well. So you can contact us at info@pacstream.net for more information on that. Blocked by the left side. No, it's in the net, and 4 hits on the Bethany Bison. 7-point lead for Thomas More as the Saints starting to pull away here in the second set.
You mentioned blocking, and that was one of the things I was noticing from Thomas More as I was spectating for a little bit. Their blocking has just been so on point in the second set. It seems like anytime Bethany tries to put one up, they're there, at least getting a touch on it. And the thing that's changed in their blocking, I think, from the first and second set was that when it's getting off their blockers, they're having an easier time controlling it with that initial dig after it goes off the block. So their blocking is where it needs to be right now.
Miss hit by Lindsay Mant out of bounds. Now 20-12 Thomas More. Malk with the dig, return set back to Malk and over. Kuhn will go left side. Big swing by Howell, but played well by the Bison. Mant off the right side block of the Saints. And Bethany trying to trim the deficit. It's 7 right now. Brianna Harris, the junior, we mentioned that she tends to save her best for the right time. Well, right now the Bison could use some points and some aces out of Harris. Back set Kuhn, blocked by Castro. Well, when we saw Bethany earlier this season, Alexis Castro, one of those players that you don't name play after play, but she's consistently there and plays a very solid game.
Even if she's not stuffing the hitter, so to speak, she's getting touches on the ball, and she's had a few games even since we saw her where she's been really consistent, putting up some good blocks. So another player, I think you have to be happy that she's there in the front, because when she comes in, she makes an impact.
5-point lead for Thomas More in set 2. The match lead belonging to the Saints as well, 1-0. We'll take a quick break on the PAC Sports Network.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
Welcome back to the Hummel Fieldhouse. 5-point lead for Thomas More. And Brianna Harris will serve out of the Saints timeout. Dig by Sydney Bragg. Played over by Bronner. And there's a block by Kadali. That ball hovered over the net. In perfect position for Kadali. Coach Spinney, speaking about Kadali, said that other teams really key on her as she commits a service error here. But they really key on her, and a lot of times they need some of the other talented hitters to step up. But Kadali has done very well on her own here today.
Well, as they should key on her. She's just a fantastic player. She's done some really big things here so far today, and last night included. She's holding down that middle so well. She's getting, you know, just little one-timers like that 2 points ago, and she's in there on the blocking. She's moving around really well up there.
Double tap called on Sydney Bragg gives Bethany the point. 4-point deficit now. Bethany creeping back in this one late. Dakota McKenzie. Now it's Howell off the right side block. And back up there by Lauber. And Elena McKenzie blocked by the left side of the Saints. Deaton and Howell a part of that block. Paige Bragg checking in for Bethany. Holly Bronner to serve for the Saints. We are in set 2. Malk, beautiful play there. Tip by Howell and over. Dakota McKenzie blocked by the Saints. Bethany rallies. She'll try again. Castiglione with a nice dig. Howell blocked by the right side for the Bison. There's Castro delivering the block.
Howell, typically when she hits, she's closer to the net, and when she gets closer to the net, that allows somebody from her own team to come behind her and cover, but because she was so far away from the net, it allowed the blockers to just drop it right in front of her without any chance for anybody to be behind her covering.
Howell with a rocket. Bethany plays it well. Lauber sends it over. Back set to Felicity Britt for the kill. Bronner with the back set in the wheelhouse for Britt. And the Saints 2 points away from winning set 2 now. In to serve, Brittany Rourke-Cassie. Dig by Paige Bragg. Big swing by Dakota McKenzie. Meyer plays it over. Dig again by Bragg. Dakota McKenzie off the fingertips of the Saints and over. Deaton partially blocked. But on the other side, Dakota McKenzie. Oh, great dig by Castiglione. And this time too strong. Dakota McKenzie. Too long on the swing, and it's 24-18. Saints in set 2. Cassie serves. A great dig by Malk to keep hope alive for Bethany in this set, but Felicity Britt drops the hammer to finish off the Bison in set 2. 25-18 your final in the second set, and it's 2-0 Saints in the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. We'll come back for set 3 on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
Bankruptcy myths. Busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy Myths Busted, brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
We return to the Hummel Fieldhouse. Thomas More with a 2-0 match lead over the Bethany Bison. Some individual statistics for Thomas More. Marissa Meyer with 8 kills. She had 6 alone in that second set. And Holly Bronner, 15 assists on the night. Becca Kuhn with 9 assists. We mentioned that those two would split time at the center spot, and they have, both producing well. And Jessica Canale, 6 kills and 5 blocks, as she has produced on really any aspect of the game that you need for the Bethany Bison. Dakota McKenzie with 6 kills, although she had 5 of those in the first set. Mackenzie Lauber, 14 assists and 6 digs defensively for Julia Mouth. Also digs defensively for Thomas More. Kelsey Castiglione with 7 of those. But stats bear out the role players that you would expect to hear from today. But overall, Thomas More has had the better of the play.
Watching Bethany that last set, something I want to point out, we talked about Mackenzie Lauber and how she's talented not only as a setter, but she can put some velocity on the ball for some kills, and she can make digs when necessary. But a lot of times in that second set, she was the one that had to make that initial dig so that somebody else would have to set up the hitters or just try and play it in a place where the hitters could hit it, could have a touch on it. And specifically up there were the McKenzie sisters. And what I've noticed about them is when you set them closer onto the net, they're able to really get up and put the ball down, but they were being set up so far off the net that they're just hitting it way out of bounds because they have a tremendous amount of strength. So I think that if you're Bethany, you need to make sure now that Lauber is in her role as a setter, being able to set them up, or if she has to take that initial touch, whoever gets it second needs to make sure they're good sets, so it's not just trying to put it over as best as you can.
Elena McKenzie with the opening point in set 3. Meyer plays it over. Lauber high into the sky and sent across by Mount. Back set by Bronner, and the point, net contact on Bethany, and it's an even score, 1-1. Castiglione with the leaping right-handed serve, and an ace. Castiglione with her 3rd ace of the day. Well, the conference leader in aces belongs to Bethany with Beckwith, Kelly Beckwith, a conference high 56 aces, but it's Castiglione who has dominated today from that standpoint.
Something about her serve, it's got a little bit of a spin on it, not much. She takes a little bit of an unconventional approach to it if you watch how she starts, but something about it is tripping Bethany up a little bit.
Now there's service error. Took too much off of that one, evidently. And now Bethany will turn to Haley Santemeyer of Clifton, Virginia, and Centerville High School. Dig Castiglione, Bronner the back set, and the block out of bounds by Bethany. Point will go to Thomas More. Kuhn serves. Lauber with the back set, and Castro. That time the set was just slightly off, and Castro, you could see her kind of lean back, and that forced her to swat it basically. Kind of what you were talking about earlier on, Kat, at the start of the set. By way of the set there from Lauber, in this particular instance, forced the errant hit out of bounds, and Bethany, as they've fallen behind 6-2, call a timeout. We'll keep it here for the time being, but just again proving your point, Kat, as far as just that missed timing just slightly by the Bethany Bison.
Yeah, the Bethany hitters, they're so good when you set them close to the net, and they just have such tremendous speed that they're able to put on those balls, but they have to get a good set, and for whatever reason it feels like there's a disconnect between that initial dig and wherever the set's going, that it's not allowing them to get good touches. Now they're doing the best they can with it, but ideally you want to be able to put it in the correct place, and I think if you look at these two teams, that's where one of the big differences is Thomas More is setting them right off the net, and they're just getting down, especially in the middle, and Bethany, they just, maybe this timeout will help, but they need to figure out that timing. This is as critical of a set as ever.
Well, it's 2-0 in the match score, favoring the Saints. One more win, and the Saints will have yet another PAC title. Bethany hoping to win their first women's volleyball championship in school history. Castro out of bounds near sideline. And it's a 5-point lead in the early going in the third set for Thomas More. Service error for Becca Kuhn helps the Bison out. Now, both coaches talked about passing and serving as important parts of the game today. Thomas More, for the most part, has had the better of that, as made evident by the scoreboard. Nice adjustment mid-flight by Dakota McKenzie, and the kill for Holly Bronner. Thomas More, they have asserted themselves in this championship match, that is for sure. And Bethany coach Courtney Klein talked about the previous meetings between these two teams, as Harris with the tip for Bethany. And that Bethany won the preceding two matchups, 3-0 and 3-2. The 3-0 win was here at the Hummel Fieldhouse, 3-2 in Crestview Hills, Kentucky. But she said of those previous matchups, those are great, but she was expecting a different atmosphere from Thomas More, a different mindset from Thomas More, with the fact that the championship's on the line today. It's just a different scenario now. And Thomas More has played that way with a new mindset, washing away any memories from those previous two matches. And another kill for Jessica Canale.
And it's not just a championship for Thomas More. I mean, they're the reigning champions, so you're the champion till somebody else takes it away from you, and I'm sure they'd like to keep it for another year.
Canale serves. Lauber set to Mant. Handled by Thomas More, blocked by Lauber, and Harris to the point for the Bison. Well, they needed that one.
Lauber on that play, not only was she blocking, but she did that set as she was sliding down to her knees going across the court, so that's pretty impressive that you're sliding through it and you can still put it up in the right place.
Lindsay Mant, dig by Sydney Bragg. Mount set to Delana McKenzie. Nice low dig by Sydney Bragg once again. Bethany going to Delana McKenzie, but blocked by Deaton. Tip this time by McKenzie and over. Bragg sets to Howe, and she'll get the point. Almost put that one up near the scoreboard over the basketball hoop here at the Hummel Fieldhouse.
I thought it was going in the balcony.
Almost. Here at the Hummel Fieldhouse, there's a balcony that I'm sure you saw from our camera vantage point off that last swing, and takes you along that left end behind the hoop, and the ball almost ended up in that vicinity. Tip by Felicity Britt, and right now Thomas More could do nothing wrong. Running on all cylinders in all phases. They're the reigning champions and displaying why. Tip by Harris. Bronner to Deaton. Kept alive by Bethany. Lindsay Mant over. Castiglione digs. Dump attempt by Bronner. Kept alive by Harris off the net, but a miss hit by Mant. And the dump ultimately sparks the point for Thomas More. 6-point lead here in the third set.
Thomas More just still so balanced. I'm looking at their numbers, and they're unofficial here, but you have one of their hitters with 8, a couple of them with 4, one with 7, and one with 5, so they're really spreading the wealth.
Brianna Harris comes through for Bethany for a kill. Harris with 2 kills through the first 2 sets. She's added on to that here in set 3. I mentioned that she steps up at the right time. Well, now is that time, and there's an ace for Brianna Harris. If there's ever a time that Bethany has needed their junior to come through, it's right now. Junior, who in the past led more so by example, but now coming into her own. And directing all the youngsters, very talented, youthful group. Lindsay Mant with a laser, but still played well by Howell, eventually over. And there, essentially the slam dunk by Tyler Deaton for Thomas More.
They're going to give the ball back to Bethany.
Oh, wow.
I think they're saying Deaton, when she came over, she either had, they were pointing to the net, so it must have been net contact, but I was wondering too, because she was awfully far over with her hands.
Hitting error on Thomas More, and going back to that previous point, Tyler Deaton, she didn't realize that the point went against Thomas More until she realized, she looked down the floor and saw Brianna Harris with the volleyball.
I don't think many of them did. They were all celebrating, as you should with something like that.
I don't think the scoreboard operators adjusted the score either. 12-10 is the score. And certainly Coach Klein, so much for home court advantage. Score should be 12-10 favoring Thomas More, not 13-9, which reads on the scoreboard currently.
Well, whatever that was, it got all the fans fired up. So.
That was the point that Deaton thought she had, but was called back or nullified, negated by the officials. And we have it all squared away. It is 12-10. And that, as you said, now after going to the scores table, folks here at the Hummel Fieldhouse a little more vocal, but now eruption for the Thomas More contingent after that service error by Harris. The Thomas More faithful, as they always seem to do, traveling well for this volleyball championship match today, and for the weekend for that matter. Semifinals last night at the Hummel Fieldhouse. Castiglione dig, Bronner set, Deaton over. Dig by Mount, back set lobber to Delana McKenzie. Block, but nice recovery by Mount. Castiglione goes to Britt with the tip. Mount with the dig, but no one else behind her. And Thomas More ups their lead to 4.
I know Mal couldn't get it out there, but certainly a bright spot for Bethany today and this whole week of the tournament. She's just been outstanding in terms of the way she covers the floor, covers the block. She's always there.
Bronner goes left side to Meyer into the net, however. 15-11, and talking about that urgency from Bethany, we saw the composure, but now it looks like that urgency has been picked up a notch. Lindsay Mant serving. Castiglione can't handle it. An ace for Lindsay Mant. And even though Bethany is behind right now, still get a sense of a pendulum swing, and now the officials getting the scoreboard again situated. Coach John Spinney very displeased at this point, but I think yet again the official scoreboard here is a little bit off the mark. And Spinney, he has his score sheet, I guess, in his notepad there, and it doesn't match with what is happening on the scoreboard. But now, once again, it is finally squared away. 15-12, but as we were speaking to anyway, the pendulum swing, you're starting to feel that here, even though Bethany is behind. But Thomas More has thwarted any momentum swings or potentially so throughout the day. Meyer blocked, and Bethany with a huge block by Castro.
They caught almost all the same stuff above the midcourt line, and you can't do that because those blocks, when a hit's coming at you so hard, it's going to go back that far.
14-13 our score after the block by Castro. And now we're even. Bethany has evened it up in the third set. Delana McKenzie. Bronner goes left side to Meyer. And we've got a carry, double tap rather, the indication on Mackenzie Lauber. Thomas More regains the lead, 15-14. Castiglione finds serve. Lauber sets left side for a tip by Dakota McKenzie. Felicity Britt aiming for the back left corner, but Mant there for the dig. There is a rocket. Dakota McKenzie.
Dakota McKenzie struggled a little bit in that second set. She was hitting some balls out of bounds, not able to get them down the way she normally does, but now both of the McKenzie sisters, I guess, coming through with points when they need them.
Bronner to Canale. Haven't said her name much recently. But Bethany able to handle it, then Castro out of bounds near sideline.
Castro was in an odd position. The ball was too low to set perhaps, and her back was to the net and she was facing sideways, so extremely difficult to play it over from that angle, but I guess in that situation you do the best you can and hope it falls favorably for you.
Tip by Castro. Castiglione, left side for Meyer, way too strong on that one. We're even again, 16 all. Julia Mauk serving for Bethany. Bronner out of bounds far sideline. Bethany has grabbed a 1-point lead. And now Thomas More wants a timeout. Well, things not quite going Thomas Moore's way. And Coach John Spinney has shown some displeasure with the official scoring situation at the book, if you will. And perhaps some of that playing out on the floor with his team. So everyone really needs a timeout for Thomas More at this point.
Everything, both teams, and even the gym, the attitude in it has changed. The gym's gotten more energized, and Thomas More, the way they were playing, completely unrattled, and definitely needed a timeout there because they were letting Bethany come back and making mistakes that they hadn't been making all game long. And Bethany, I think they finally realized the urgency of the situation they were in, or maybe not finally realized, because I'm sure you realize when you're trailing 2-0 going into the third set, it's win or go home. But I think they've picked up the intensity more to the level that they had last night.
And more so than realizing, but executing after that realization. And Bethany with a 1-point lead in the third set. And out of bounds, Thomas More. That clipped the top of the net. Had to wait on the official word whether that found fingertips or not, but top of the net and then out of bounds. 2-point lead for Bethany. Mauk, serve. And Kuhn called for the double tap.
Thomas More now having the problem Bethany was having earlier. Their initial digs are not letting their setters get in a good position. They're having to set them not only to the hitters, but out of the net and to the hitters.
Kuhn sets left side for Meyer. Cross court, Mackenzie Lauber. 20-16. And Thomas More wants another TO. We'll take a break as well. Set 3, we'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way!
What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
Thomas More won set 1, 25-21. In set 2, 25-18. But in the third set, the Bethany Bison owning the lead and trying to win this third set and continue play. Lauber blocked by Jessica Canale. That's unofficially her 6th block of the day. Sydney Bragg serving, the 5'7" freshman and younger sister of Paige Bragg, who plays for the Bethany Bison. Canale sends it over, back across by Lauber. Left side, it's Howe. Dig by Mauk. Lauber to Dakota McKenzie. 21-17. Well, when you get that in the wheelhouse for Dakota McKenzie, bury your head. An ace. It's Kelly Beckwith, the conference leader at aces. Castiglione with the dig, tip by Howell. Nice diving dig by Mant. Howell with the tip, dig again from the backside by Bethany's Haley Santemeyer. Out of bounds, off the middle block, and the point for Kadali and the Saints.
Saints, though, refusing to give up. I mean, a lot of teams thinking they're up 2-0, okay, but the fight they've shown still, even though they just refuse to be uncomposed.
Harris the block. Hummel Fieldhouse, more vocal than it's been all day, and it's highest decibel level at this stage of the afternoon and early evening. Deaton tip. Lauber has Harris for the kill. You could hear Harris calling for that one before Lauber was ready to set it. Harris wanted that ball and she delivered.
I think she saw the space, which was exactly where she hit it to, but oftentimes if they see the space, they'll call for it, and she did, and she aimed it well.
Thomas Moore with the answer, Howell with the kill. And now Bronner serves. 2-0 match lead favoring Thomas Moore. Bethany 1 point away from extending the action. Bronner serves it up. Mount digs. Lauber left side for Mant. And that is inbound to the back left corner. And we move on to a fourth set. Bethany wins set 3, 25-19. We'll be back on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve Southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA. When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way! What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
As we return to the Hummel Fieldhouse in Bethany, West Virginia, it was 2-0 Thomas More, but Bethany comes up with a set 3 victory, 25-19. Well, we were just talking a little bit ago. We didn't expect this one to go 3 sets, and well, it won't.
I thought for a while there it was going to, but then Bethany came back with that amazing rally. There was the fight that they had needed to have the whole day and that they had shown this season, and especially yesterday. They fought so hard in that match with Westminster, and Thomas More was handling everything like business until that changed. So it'll be interesting to see if this 4th set is like the first 2 went, or if Bethany will carry their momentum through.
Bethany will begin serving with junior Brianna Harris. Harris, who was our Foster Law Office's player of the game during an earlier broadcast against Westminster in the regular season. Felicity Britt with a big swing. Nice dig, though, by Mackenzie Lauber. Meyer will try to the back left corner. Accuracy right on point. 1-0 Saints.
Saints almost were in danger of losing that point. I think they wanted to let that one dig straight over the net go out of bounds, but it wouldn't have been. It would have been on the line, so good thing one of them saved it.
Lauber sets the man. Nice right-handed flying dig. The dig was by Rorcassi, but Bethany gets the point, 1-1. Lindsay Mance serves for Bethany. Cross-court tip attempt by Meyer. And the right side block out of bounds for Thomas More, and there's Dakota McKenzie coming through. Bethany with a 1-point lead. Mance serves, Castiglione digs. Left side Meyer. Castro keeps it alive in a big swing, Dakota McKenzie. McKenzie with 10 kills tonight, including the 2 here in this set. She is the first to go double digits in that category. Set left side for Meyer. And over, Malk digs. Left side, Dakota McKenzie. Another point for the 6'3" freshman. Joust over the net, and the point to Bethany. The official in the perch, Patty Nellis, ruled against Thomas More on that joust, and now John Spinney wants an explanation. As he called that timeout, not to talk with his team, but because he wants an explanation. He is chatting right now with Tom Paddock on the floor. So we'll keep it right here for the time being. And now Spinney wants some notice from the other official on the far side, Patty Nellis.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I'm a little confused as to what happened there myself. Can we get an explanation too?
Well, if we find one out, we'll see if we can send a note down to Coach Spinney. Yeah, he is still motioning over to Miss Patty Nellis. But after the timeout, which was solely to discuss things with the officials by Thomas More, it's 5-1 Bethany in set 4. Delana McKenzie blocked. Still alive, though. Tipped by Castro, and the point for Bethany. We'll talk about momentum swings. The pendulum has most certainly swung in Bethany's direction. Whatever it was in that third set, somewhere along the line, the flip was switched. The switch was flipped.
Something like that.
Yeah, I had it backwards, but you know what I mean. There's a point for the Thomas More Saints.
You're so excited you're jumbling your words.
It's the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship in 2013. And a service error on Becca Koo. Nice sliding dig by Mant, but Bethany cannot send it over. As Jessica Canale was looming in the middle.
Canale really likes those one-timers right over. And understandably so. She's had a lot of success with them.
Sydney Bragg. Lauber ready for the set to Castro. And in the wheelhouse for the point. Blocked by Harris. Thomas More keeps it alive. Mant to Lauber. There's Canale for the back left corner. Well lofted tip. Canale, as you mentioned, Kat, this is the first time all season, at least for me, you had the privilege of seeing Thomas More last night, but Canale is an impressive player.
Absolutely so, and you can't say enough good things about what she's done, not only today, but yesterday too. When she's up there in the middle, not a whole lot's going to get through without being touched by some kind of block, and you better watch putting those one-timers in front of her.
Kelly Beckwith serving, clips the top of the net, played by Deaton. Set left side for Howell, the tip, blocked by Lauber. Lauber, the kill. As we spoke of, not just the setter. If she has that ball in a position to deliver, she will. Beckwith with an ace. The last moment there, Sydney Bragg let it by, and it drops just tucked inside that end line.
Bragg should have listened to her instincts there. She was going for it, and then all of a sudden you saw, I don't know if it was her bench or Castiglione that called it to her too. You just heard them yelling out really, really loudly, and then it wasn't.
Sliding dig attempt by Mant, but it hit the top of the net and drops over, changing its course. And it's 11-5. Holly Bronner measures up the volleyball and comes forward with the serve. Mant pushes it across. Howe with the rocket. Played well on the dig. That was Santameyer with the dig moments ago. There's Felicity Britt, however, with a kill for Thomas More.
If you're Thomas More, you need to keep going to those back corners. They're having really good success in this, not only in the set, but so far today, keeping it inbounds back there, and Bethany just doesn't have the coverage back there.
Brianna Harris plays it over. Castiglione to Britt. And the point, no, great pancake dig by Mount, keeps it alive. How do you like that? Tip by Howell, pushed over by Mant for Bethany. Back set to Britt for the tip. Lauber to Mant, dig by Castiglione. Now it's Howell, blocked by the right side. Harris and Lauber for the block assist. That might have been one of the best volleys of the day.
I don't know how Bethany kept that alive, to be honest. Which, again, that's a question I've been asking myself all weekend with them, so.
Tip by Howell, played well by Lauber. Beckwith sends it high to Delana McKenzie, and out of bounds near sideline. Point to Thomas More, 12-7. Saints have the 2-1 match lead, for the Bison leading in set 4. Brittany Rohr-Cassie from Mason, Ohio, and Mount Notre Dame High School. Lindsay Mant with some damage.
Got to tell you, not a whole lot Bronner could have done with that one. It just hit her straight in the middle of the body.
Meyer with the response for Thomas More. That was just unreal wicked swing from Lindsay Mant 2 points ago.
Definitely no mercy there, that's for sure.
The ball almost embedded into the body of Bronner. Lobber back set to Mant. Dig by Castiglione, tipped by Bronner. Mant out of bounds, petitioning for the call, won't get it. The officials carefully eyeing all corners. Thomas More on a run, but off the left side block, Delana McKenzie makes it 14-9. Nice dig by Rourke-Cassie. Lobber to Delana McKenzie with the dump over. Britt the tip. Mount digs it high in the air. Good position to set for Lobber. Goes to Dakota McKenzie. Blocked by Thomas More. Delana McKenzie with the tip. Dug out by Bronner. Rourke-Cassie into the wheelhouse for Meyer. That pumps up the Thomas More Saints contingent.
Meyer took such an awkward approach at that too. Normally you come from the outside and forward. I think she came directly parallel to the net and somehow hit that one over.
Becca Kuhn with the serve. Dakota McKenzie over. Kuhn sets left side for Meyer. This time we'll bring a tip. Dug out by Lobber. Mauk will go to Delana McKenzie. Dig by Castiglione. Leaves it only for a tip for Bronner. Dakota McKenzie tried to swat that one home, but instead low into the net. And as Thomas More now has gone on a bit of a run and seeing things turn the other direction, Bethany coach Courtney Klein calls a timeout.
Thomas More, I think now they have the wind back into their sails, so to speak. They're looking a little more lively after that third set. I feel they were caught a little off guard by the effort that Bethany had to come back, but now I think they're starting to get back in it. The desire is back. Not that it ever wasn't there, but you can really see it now.
Thomas More weathering the storm in that third set, and now weathering the storm again in this fourth set as well. As Bethany had leaped out to a 7-point lead at 11-4. And now Thomas More has cut it to a 3-point affair in the fourth set. Glad you can be with us today on the PAC Sports Network. It's the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship in 2013. And we were not whistled for play yet, or were we?
They have to wait for the whistle of the official that's up high, and I think it was the lower one that whistled.
So we were not quite ready, but now we are.
It's a lot of whistles, hard to tell where they're coming from.
Meyer off the right side block and the point. Marissa Meyer. We talked quite a bit from the Thomas More perspective about Jessica Canale. But over the last two sets now, stepping up for point after point, Marissa Meyer. There's, just as we say that, there's Canale. Hey, remember me with the block.
That's her favorite move.
Kuhn sets. Great effort by Mauk. Lobber sends it over, but out of bounds. And that started off the initial dig attempt by Paige Bragg. Couldn't handle the serve. And Thomas More has tied it. Bragg plays that one. Lobber, diving effort. Lightly tapped over by Castro. Castro again with the tip. Kuhn there. Castiglione goes to Bronner and blocked by Castro.
Something we haven't seen a whole lot from Thomas More. They let themselves all get bunched up towards the net. Nobody was back there in the middle. Not something we've seen a lot all day. They usually space themselves out very well with somebody back there to cover the block and then also somebody in the back row.
Swing over by Meyer. Dig by Malk. Lauber tries to catch Thomas More off guard, and she does. 16-14 Bethany. Haley Santemeyer has been terrific defensively today for Bethany. From Hopewell, Ohio serves. Castiglione with the high dig. Meyer from the left side and somehow splits Santemeyer and Bragg for the point, 16-15. Now it's Sydney Bragg for Thomas More to serve. And played by sister Paige Bragg on the dig. Tipped by Delana McKenzie. Howe. Dump attempt by Lauber. Well played by Kuhn. Bronner tips. Lauber over. Out of bounds. We're even again, 16-all.
Talk about the fans really getting into it, but I think this set, nobody's really more into it than Thomas Moore's coach Spinney. I've been watching him down here on the sidelines. He's very, very vocal, pacing up and down.
Violation under the net. Bronner looked like her foot went over the line. And so Bethany retakes the lead by 1. Canale able to tuck that ball just inside the far sideline. And we're tied again. Thomas More could win this set. They'll win it all. Left side. The laser beam. Dakota McKenzie.
Every time Bethany's in a slump, or things get evened up, or they need something to make a statement, just go to Dakota McKenzie. She'll do it for you.
Beckwith serving. Deaton blocked by Harris. And then a lift called on Deaton to follow. And Thomas More wants a timeout. 2-point lead for the Bison in set 4. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way! What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
2-point lead for the Bison in this 4th set. And Thomas More calling the timeout. A very animated head coach John Spinney trying to rally his troops. Ace for Beckwith. And again, the conference leader in aces delivers. Howe plays it over. Malk digs. Lauber for the kill. Dig by Sydney Bragg. Tipped over by Bronner. Beckwith digs for Bethany. Left side Mance. Played by Castiglione. Nice hustle by Bragg and over by Howe. Beckwith dig. Lauber with the dump. Thomas More rallies to it. Lauber to Harris. Too long this time. Thomas More trims the deficit, 21-18. Lauber goes left side to Mance, blocked by Felicity Britt. Lauber called for a violation, and point again to Thomas Moore. Off the Bronner serve, Mant blocked by Britt and Deaton for the block assist each. And now Bethany with the timeout. 1 point lead for Bethany. We'll be right back on the PAC Sports Network.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
We're tight here in set 4, 21-20. And Thomas Moore will be serving as Holly Bronner, the junior 5'9" player from Mount Notre Dame High School. Back set Lauber to Harris and the kill. Bethany responds out of the timeout. As we've said, Harris always comes up with the right play at the right time. That certainly wasn't a bad time for a kill.
No, and she didn't have it easy either, the angle she was at.
Bronner back set to Deaton in the middle. Tip on the adjustment by Harris. 23-20. That ball was coming off the dig from Lauber directly into the net. Harris tipped it up and over and gets the point from it. How? Dig out of the back row by Mauk. Mance lobs it into the middle. Castiglione digs. Deaton blocked by Harris as she has in some way delivered 3 straight points now for Bethany, whether it be a kill, tip, and this time a block. Lauber serving. Bronner left side for Howe. Mance too strong. Thomas Moore stays alive in the set. 24-21. PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. Will we go to a 5th set? Not yet. Deaton with the block. Brittany Rohr-Cassie serves again for the Thomas More Saints. Mauk digs to Lauber, set left side Mant, miss hit into the net. And what was a 4-point lead at 24-20, evaporating to a 1-point lead, 24-23 for Bethany. Rohr-Cassie serves once more. Lauber, back set Harris. And we will go to a 5th set as the Hummel Fieldhouse erupts. 25-23 Bison in set 4. We'll come right back on the PAC Sports Network.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com. generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve Southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
Bankruptcy myths busted.
I heard you lose everything you own when you file bankruptcy.
The whole point of bankruptcy is to get a fresh start, and that's only possible if you have something to start with. In over 95% of bankruptcy cases, individuals keep everything they own, including their home, car, pension, and household goods.
Myth busted. Bankruptcy myths busted. Brought to you by Foster Law Offices. Call today to schedule a free consultation and sleep better tonight.
Welcome back to the Hummel Fieldhouse, and it all comes down to this fifth set for the PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. It was 2-0 Thomas More, 25-21 and 25-18. Bethany rallies with 25-19 and 25-23 wins in set 3 and 4. Set 5, the first to 15, winning by 2, will be your champion. Bethany vying for their first ever Women's Volleyball Championship in the President's Athletic Conference. Thomas More wanting to defend their title. They're the reigning champions. They've won 3 of the last 4 seasons.
There was a point in that third set where I really thought Thomas More had it, and then Bethany, just the way they have fought back is incredible. I don't even know that there are accurate words to put it into play, because at points they were just doing everything right.
Bethany serves to start. Brianna Harris, Miss Clutch, puts it in play, and the fifth set underway. And too long on the swing by Meyer. Well, what's the ruling here?
Well, they're giving it back to Bethany. I saw the near side official motion for 4, like 4 hits. The line judge on Bethany's side said it was out. Not really sure.
Yet Thomas More is serving.
Maybe it was a 4. There must have been a touch that, I don't know how there was a touch we didn't see. I don't know.
I did see the 4 hit indication, so evidently we'll go with that. 4 hits on Bethany that granted Thomas More the initial point of the set, but there's Delana McKenzie for a kill. We're even 1-1.
That's why the officials are in charge and not us, I guess.
Some of the other folks on the floor seem to be a little confused as well, so it wasn't just us on that one, Kat.
Wouldn't be the first time today we were confused.
This is true, or probably the last time today I'll be confused, but that's for another time. 2-1, Thomas More with the lead. Nice dig by Paige Bragg. Block on the left side by Thomas More. Slightly sending it over, Delana McKenzie with the point.
There are so many times that Bethany just makes saves like that, and I look at it in awe, because she was clear out of the court. I don't know, again, I just don't know how they managed to get the ball back in play.
Beautiful, well-placed kill by Tyler Deaton. She has done that numerous times today. It comes through to make it 3-2 for Thomas More. Deaton with her 6th kill of the day. Dig by Bragg, lobber to Dakota McKenzie. That ball was thinking about it and decided to fall on the Bethany side of the floor. Point to Thomas More, it's 4-2. Holly Bronner serves. It's been a seesaw battle today. Dakota McKenzie over to Deaton in the open middle for the point. Thomas More opens a 5-2 lead, and there's the timeout for Bethany with the winning point set at 15 in the 5th set. You don't have as much time to sit on a rally as Thomas More has bumped up their advantage to 3. So Coach Courtney Klein calling the timeout. And Courtney Klein has done a terrific job with this Bethany program in her 7th season. As the PAC Coach of the Year in 2009, guided Bethany to a 16-15 record. And at that time, first PAC tournament appearance in 5 years. They went from 4 wins the year before to those 16 wins in 2009. And Bethany has posted back-to-back 30-win seasons and 3 straight ECAC South titles. This is the year that Bethany wants the PAC championship. Thomas Moore, obviously, with other thoughts in mind.
And Coach Klein, I'm sure no coach, rests on the success they have and never wants to get any better. But I just remember when you were talking to her last time we were here watching Bethany play Westminster, and you asked her, "Oh, you guys are having all this success, undefeated in the conference," and she basically said, "Yeah, that's good, but we're still doing this, and this wrong." She just never rests on it. Even I could get that from her in the beginning of the season. Yeah, ECACs are great, but we're still not PAC champs yet, and we're still not doing this right. So she never settles.
Powell for Thomas Moore, and lob her into the net. Now some self-inflicted wounds here for Bethany, as Thomas Moore has opened up a 5-point lead.
Those types of mistakes almost cost Bethany that last set too. They were hitting a couple into the net, a few out of bounds. They don't have as much time to correct it here though in the 5th.
Castro blocked, nice dig on the recovery by Malk, but Dakota McKenzie well out of bounds, and we'll switch sides here in the 5th set. 8-2, Thomas Moore. As the folks from Crestview Hills, Kentucky on their feet here in the Hummel Fieldhouse, and as loud as those Bethany rooters were not all that long ago, they have grown silent suddenly. Holly Bronner to put it in play on the serve. Dig by Paige Bragg. Into the net, another self-inflicted wound, this time Sadie Davenport. And this is where perhaps the youth at this stage is starting to falter. An ace for Bronner, 10-2, Thomas Moore. And Coach Courtney Klein left with no choice but to call a timeout.
Thomas Moore just so excited right now, and Bethany, they don't want to stand out there on the floor defeated, but this is their last chance to turn it around out of this timeout, and they're looking especially on that last serve. I mean, that was a playable ball by all means, so you don't want to act defeated until you actually are.
Well, Bethany has rallied from a 2-0 match deficit to force this 5th set. The Saints, to their credit, undaunted, have now taken a 10-2 lead in the 5th, but we shall see. Saints 5 points away from another championship. Stay tuned in the post game. We'll hand out our Foster Law Office's Player of the Game. Ariel Sanders checking in for Bethany. First time we've seen her today. Bronner puts it in play. Bragg with the dig. Malk over to Davenport and across. Castiglione to Bronner, back set. Felicity Britt for the kill. And Thomas Moore feeling it. Dakota McKenzie re-enters for the Bison. Bronner serves with a 9-point lead in the 5th set. Miscommunication there, but nice recovery by Santameyer. There's Ariel Sanders for the kill. As we mentioned, newly inserted into the contest and makes an instant impact. Mauk serves it up. Bronner to Howell on the left side, goes cross court. Back set lobber to Harris. What do we have here? Official on the floor once he says fingertips, point to Bethany. And the Thomas More Saints can't believe it, especially John Spitting. Brianna Harris, the benefactor for the point, 11-4. Blocked in the middle by Harris. Oh, we've said it before. Harris always seems to step up at the right time. And before things can unravel here for Thomas More, the Saints call a timeout. Well, we saw in that third set, there was some dispute as to the score after a would-be block for one of the Saints was taken away and a point granted to Bethany, as by rule by our official in the perch, Patty Nellis. And things started to sway at that point in Bethany's favor. Before that can happen again, Coach Spinney calls the timeout.
There's still a deficit here for Bethany to overcome, but little things like that, just the smallest thing in a game like volleyball where there's so many mechanics to it, so many moving parts. I mean, the slightest turn of your body or anything could be the difference between a point or not. And in the case where there's little calls like that, that really can be the momentum difference. It doesn't take much.
Julia Mauk serves, the sophomore. Played on the dig by Sydney Bragg, tipped by Felicity Britt. Lobber, dug out by Bragg, back set to Britt, hits the antenna. Oh, we have contact with the antenna by one of the Bison is the call. And now we will have a congregation amongst the officials as to what is the call. Did the ball hit the antenna or the player? The player, says both officials. And so point goes to Thomas More, 12-5. Whistled for play. Serving Rourke-Cassie. Dig Santemeyer. Lobber to Harris. Great dig by Rourke-Cassie. And a double tap call. And it's 12-6.
Bethany, you were worried for them early on. You thought Thomas More for sure had this in the bag, but they're just refusing to be down and keep fighting. And I think that's a theme that they've had through a lot of their matches this year.
Harris off balance swing, dig by Castiglione, but no one else home for Thomas More. Harris gets the point, 12-7. It was a 9-point lead for Thomas More. It's been trimmed to 5. Blocked by the right side for Bethany. Brett will give it a try and over. Beckwith digs, lobber blocked. In the middle, Meyer and Deaton for the block assist. Thomas More inching closer.
Bethany wasn't expecting lobber to one-time that over because they were already back lined up in case they needed a dig or to approach on a kill.
Out of bounds off of Santemeyer. And this could be it. 1 point away, the Thomas More Saints. Kelsey Castiglione, the 5'6" junior, serves. Lobber back set to Harris. And the point, Bethany stays alive.
Once again, when you need a point, go to Harris.
Mackenzie Lobber serves. Castiglione with the dig. Bronner left side for Meyer. Dig by Beckwith. Delana McKenzie the kill. McKenzie serves. Bronner back set. Britt. And that is it. The finisher for Britt and the Thomas More Saints. The Saints, the 2013 PAC Women's Volleyball Champions. They'll shake hands with the Bethany Bison, then celebrate and accept their trophy. The Thomas More Saints have defended their title. The reigning champs will continue to be the reigning champs. The Thomas More Saints. And let the celebration begin. 15-9 winners in set 5, Thomas More. And overall, a 3-2 match win. So Bethany took the 2 regular season matchups against Thomas More, but the Saints win the one that matters most in the championship here at the Hummel Fieldhouse, taking the title on the road. We'll take a break, and when we come back, our Foster Law Office's Player of the Game on the PAC Sports Network.
We're here at Sport Clips, the new just for guys haircutting place, to see what the buzz is about. How was it?
Nice cut, nice price, professional stylist. Doesn't get any better than this.
There's sports on TV at every chair.
I got an awesome haircut, steam towel treatment, neck and shoulder massage. I went all the way! What are you waiting for? Sport Clips is now in your neighborhood. At Sport Clips, guys win.
With 2 locations in Washington County, at the McMurray Shops in Peters Township and at Trinity Point in Washington.
For 3 generations, Sharps Furniture has been proud to serve southwestern PA with their brand of personal service. Being an authorized dealer for Lazy Boy, they are dedicated to providing the finest quality products made here in the US of A. Looking for custom upholstery? Sharps carries a large selection of upholstery to choose from, all made in America. And their friendly staff will deliver right to your front door. Sharps Furniture, your authorized Lazy Boy dealer. Family owned, family operated since 1917. Located just off I-70, exit 19B in Washington, PA.
When you're seriously in debt, you know that feeling. It returns every time the phone rings. Things are out of control. A job you were counting on didn't come through, or you got sick. No matter how it got to this point, your creditors don't care or understand, but I do. It's not too late. I can help. If you're embarrassed, overwhelmed, or frustrated, don't be. I'm not here to judge. I'm here to help, and you do need help. Please call me. There is a way out, and I'll get you there.
When you are in need of fast, affordable, and professional voiceovers, contact TimeAd Productions. TimeAd Productions offers voice services for business presentations, documentary narrations, radio, television, imaging, and commercials, movie trailers, corporate phone systems, websites, audiobooks, and more. Visit or contact us online at www.timeadproductions.com.
Welcome back to the Hummel Fieldhouse, where the Thomas More Saints continue their celebration, the 2013 PAC Women's Volleyball Champions. Again, your set scores for the Saints: 25-21 in set 1, 25-18 in set 2. Bethany rallied 25-19 in set 3, 25-23 in set 4, but in the 5th set, it was 15-9. Thomas More Saints with the finisher, a kill by Felicity Britt. Britt finishes with 12 kills today, as does Jessica Keneally, and Marissa Meyer with a match-high 14 kills. For Bethany, Brianna Harris, 13 kills. Dakota McKenzie, 12, and Delana McKenzie, 11. Defensively, Haley Santemeyer, 14 digs. Mackenzie Lauber, 13 for the Bison. And defensively for the Saints, 19 digs for Castigliotti and 16 for Sydney Bragg. It was a terrific outing here today. It's pretty much what we expected, as we kind of joked that we didn't expect it to go 3 sets. And, well, it went a full 5, and Thomas More, in exciting fashion, earns the victory 3-2 and defends their title.
Very, very much earned for Thomas More. I mean, give Bethany credit. They fought back. They made it go to 5 sets, never quitting. But Thomas More, there were just moments where they were doing everything right. They refused to get rattled. Great distribution by their front line. Just so many things that they did well. Can't say enough good things about them again.
Well, our Foster Law Office's player of the game, as we distribute at the end of every broadcast on the PAC Sports Network. Tonight, well, we had certainly plenty to choose from, but we narrowed it down to one, and this evening it's Jessica Canale, the sophomore for the Thomas More Saints. She was big in the sets that really Thomas More won. 12 kills, 5 block assists with 1 individual block tonight, and she was fantastic and one of the top hitters in the conference, tied for second in hitting percentage throughout the regular season, and she was it tonight, our Foster Law Office's player of the game.
In the middle, there was really not a whole lot that could get past her as far as blocking without her getting a touch on it. She loved those one-timers over for kills, and she hit .348 today, so very efficient. Just a nice job by her. You can tell that she's really going to emerge, I think, as one of the leaders on this team, keeping composed, always where she needed to be.
For both teams, a lot of youth, and these teams are going to be back here again. You can be certain. This Bethany squad, while they didn't get the championship that they were so yearning for here this season, they have quite a young group and a talented group at that, and don't be surprised if you see the Bison and maybe even the Saints back here for years to come. So a very exciting affair here in 2013 in the women's title game, and we're glad to bring it to you. It just about does it from here at the Hummel Fieldhouse. Again, it's 3-2, Thomas More, the winners of the 2013 PAC Women's Volleyball Championship. For my partner, Kat Guy, and our producer, Justin Piles, and for Nick Farrell, our cameraman today, we bid you a pleasant good afternoon. Again, Thomas More, the champions, and next week we'll conclude our fall broadcast schedule with football next week. The Grove City Wolverines and the Teal Tomcats from Teal College. That'll be our next broadcast again next Saturday afternoon. But for today, Thomas More, the winners of the PAC Women's Volleyball title. We bid you a pleasant good night on the PAC Sports Network.